everybody. So I'm going to put together this video on how to do this assignment, which is our rainbow assignment. Now, you should have previously taken your pictures for this assignment. And I put in the assignment there that you're meant to take 30 total pictures. So 5 pictures per channel. So what I've got here is I just have 6 pictures, right? If you want to do more on this one, that's fine. If you want to just do the 5, that's also fine. The overall appeal is that when you do more than 5, your gradation from red to purple is just a little bit more smooth. Okay, so first things first, we need to get our images into Photoshop. So here I have them on my desktop. I'm going to right click and I'm going to hit open with, then I'm going to go to Photoshop. In my case, I have Photoshop 2021. Okay, next up, you need to decide what you want your orientation to be. Now, I know that I want to do a landscape here, but I have a problem here because my first image is red, and I want it to essentially live in a landscape mode, but it's in portrait here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make my blue one my background here because I know that it's got the orientation that I like. So first things first, we need to duplicate our layers. So we're going to actually just do Command J, and you'll notice that your background layer is always a locked layer. Background layers are actually a little bit different than regular layers. First of all, they're locked, meaning that we shouldn't really be able to edit or move them. But we're going to convert this to a normal layer first. Real easy to do. We just double click, and it's going to say new layer, layer 0, etc. We just click OK, and now, good news, we have this as a normal layer. Now, I know we did that, but the reason I did that is so that I could do this, which is to delete it. I'm going to click delete on that so that now I just have a normal layer up top and my onion skin back here, which is my background. Okay. Now, I'm also just going to move blue over here because I know that that's later in my rainbow than I need it to be. Okay. So the 2 keyboard shortcuts that we're using today are, excuse me, let me back out a little, V, which is our move tool, and then M, which is our marquee tool, okay, because we're just going to make strips with our rainbow, okay? So I know that my first image is red. Now, remember from a couple weeks back, to get to get an image onto a canvas, we grab the layer here, and then we're going to take it over to the tab. Okay, once that tab becomes active, then we drop that layer on the canvas. Remember, it's very important we drop it on the canvas, not the tab. If we were, for example, to try and drop this on the tab, grabbing it here, dropping it on the tab, nothing's going to happen. You have to hover over the tab, drop it on the canvas. Okay? Okay. Now I'm going to get it roughly in the position that I want, which, you know, honestly, that is pretty good. So I'm going to put it right there. Okay. Now, in this instance, since red is going to be my backmost layer here, I am going to just leave it. Okay. If I want to be a little bit more precise, what I can do is click M on my keyboard, and this will actually be the format for the rest of the assignment. So I'm actually going to click M on my keyboard, and I'm going to make a selection, a marquee selection, about right there. Okay. Now, in order to get the topmost and bottommost parts selected of the image, what I'm going to do with my marquee tool, remember keyboard shortcut M, is I'm going to start out here outside of the canvas and then go inside the canvas. And then once I'm there, I'm just going to drop it. Now, remember with selection and, with layers and layer masks, as soon as I have a selection made and then I click the layer mask button, that applies the layer mask to my selection, meaning that I have white here, which was my selection, and now it's hiding everything else in black. Okay, sweet, done. There's my red channel. So I'm just going to go down the rainbow. I'm going to go to red, then I'm going to go to orange. And here we've got this image of a skyline, which, gosh, I don't know what city that is. I wish I did. What I'm going to do, though, in order to give this just a little bit more character, as opposed to just zooming in on the orange, I'm going to click V on my keyboard to bring up the Move tool, or select the Move tool here. And I'm going to turn this on its side. Now, you'll notice that it's kind of difficult to get exactly 90 degrees here. So what you can do is just come up here and type in 90 and then hit enter. And that will allow me to see, it'll give me a straight up and down. So since I have red starting here on the left, I'm actually going to come over here. I'll lower my opacity just a smidge to help me visualize that a little bit. I'm going to start, I guess about right there. Okay, turn my opacity back up. And now what I'm going to do, in order to get my selections the same, I'm going to come to my layer mask here, and I'm going to hold down Command. Then I'm going to click on that layer mask. And what that's going to do is it's going to apply that selection to this layer again. Okay. Now I'm going to use my Move tool. Again, I'm going to click V. I'm toggling between V and M essentially all day. Okay. So then I'm going to go back to my marquee, and I'm going to, I don't know if this will work actually. I just want to transform the selection. Hang on. You know what? Let's not forget that I mentioned this. Let's just make a new selection. So I'm going to hit Command D, and I'm going to go back to M on my keyboard. And again, lowering my opacity here because I want to kind of find where that layer was. I'm going to go to about there to about, let's say, I think it was 75 millimeters. So I'll go about right there. And then again, turning my opacity back up. I'm going to click the layer mask again, and then sweet, I've got this red, or my orange layer done. Okay. So then we can click V to move things around if we need to. Let's do it right there. So I've got orange, I've got red done, I've got orange done. Let's do yellow. Now this one I'm going to zoom in a whole bunch. So I'm going to grab it here, drop it on the canvas, hit V, not B, V, and hit V to zoom in a whole bunch. So I just kind of want the door of that moving train here. Lower my opacity to help me kind of visualize where I want it to be. I think probably about right there. Yeah, that's good. Then I'm going to hit my M again. I'm going to go to about right there. I'm going to go to about 75. And then I'm going to click my layer mask again, turn my opacity back up. Now I've got my yellow done. Red, orange, yellow. Next up is green. Let me grab this, put it here, hit V. This one's kind of, I mean, it doesn't really matter how big it is, just so long as it fills up the top to bottom of the canvas. And this one, I don't really care where this one is. So I'm not really worried about where it begins and ends. I'm just going to kind of, I'll just put it there just to kind of get in the same habit of doing the same thing. Click this, and click enter. I'm going to click M. I'm going to hold down spacebar to move my position of my selection. Go to about 75. Click the layer mask. It applies. Turn my opacity back up. Click V to move it because I went too far. Just overlap that yellow just a little bit. Okay. Red, orange, yellow, green. Next up we have blue. Blue's already here. So what I'm going to do is just kind of scale this until I'm happy. Which probably, just to give it a little bit of similarity with that green, because we have black here, we have black here. Just going to scale that up just a little bit. Okay. Go back to my marquee tool, hit enter, hit the M button on my keyboard, turn this to about 75, and then add a layer mask. Sweet, there we go. Blue's done. Last up, red, orange, yellow, yellow, green, and blue's already done. And I'm just doing purple, but you can do the indigo violet, which actually I guess we have indigo violet as a range of colors on this one. But either way, we'll make it work. Click V to move it around. I guess in my head, like I want to make this like roughly the same size as these leaves. So I'm gonna make it just a little bit larger. And you know what? I'm gonna make that blue just a little bit larger first off. So I'm gonna hit enter on this one. I'm gonna go back to the layer mask on my blue layer. I'm gonna hit M. I'm gonna just extend that a little bit. Shift delete, and I'm gonna fill this with white. Oops, just kidding. Not that, the layer mask. There we go. Okay. And then we're gonna deselect that. We're gonna go back to our purple layer. We're gonna move that to about right, I guess right about up there. Sure. Okay. Sweet. So there we go. We've got our nice rainbow of colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and indigo violet is in there somewhere. So, okay. So when you're all done, now remember this really is an exercise in layer organization and categorization, right? So making sure that you know which layers are where. If this blue one's up here, I'm not going to see it, but if I put it below the purple one, there we go. Okay. So looking good. When you're done, just file. Oops, just kidding. File, save as. Remember, file, save as. Remember, it's always a great idea to save anything to your desktop so you have a nice, easy place to remember it. It's always a good idea to give it a name that you will remember. Okay. And then save it to your desktop. Save it as a JPEG, and then click Save, Save. And then when we go back down here, we've got a name that you will remember on this nice collage rainbow of color. So great, submit that. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email, just jsmith@murrayschools.org. Send me a message in Canvas, and we will get it all squared away. Hope you're having a great day. Talk to you later.